Dear students, from above discussions, we realize the importance of resource planning. Planning is the widely accepted strategy for judicious use of resources. It has importance in a country like India, which has enormous diversity in the availability of resources. There are regions which are rich in certain types of resources but are deficient in some other resources. There are some regions which can be considered self sufficient in terms of availability of resources, and there are some regions which have acute shortage of some vital resources. For example, the state the state of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals and coal deposits. Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resources but lacks in infrastructural development. The state of Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy but lacks in water resources. The cold desert of Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country. It has very rich cultural heritage, but it is deficient in water, infrastructure, and some vital minerals. This calls for balanced resource planning at the national, state, regional, and local levels. Resource planning in India. Resource planning is a complex process which involves the following steps: identification and inventory of resources across the region of the country. It involves surveying, mapping, and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of the resources. That is, the intention is to identify the quality and quantity of resources in an area. Then, evolving a planning structure equipped with appropriate technology, skill, and institutional setup for implementing resource development plans. And finally, matching the resource development plans with overall national development plans. The availability of resources is a necessary condition for the development of any region, but mere availability of resources in the absence of corresponding changes in technology and institutions may hinder development. There are many regions in our country that are rich in resources, but these are included in economically backward regions. On the contrary, there are some regions which have poor resource base, but they are economically developed. Therefore, in India, development in general and resource development in particular does not only involve the availability of resources but also the technology, quality of human resources, and the historical experiences of the people. Conservation of resources. Resources are vital for any developmental activity, but irrational consumption and overutilization of resources may lead to socio-economic and environmental problems. To overcome these problems, resource conservation at various levels is very important. This had been the main concern of the leaders and thinkers in the past. Irrational and overutilization of resources leads to socio-economic and developmental problems. So, resource conservation at various levels is important. Gandhiji voiced his concern about resource conservation. There is enough for everybody's needs and not for anybody's greed. He placed the greedy and selfish individuals and exploitative nature of modern technology as a root cause for resource depletion at the global level. He was against mass production and wanted to replace it with the production by masses. That means more people should be involved in production process. Due to mass production, The resources are accumulated in few hands. This leads to discrimination and inequality in the society.